Why are we failing to consistently love everyone? Because we are not cognizant of our divinity or godhood. We are servants, children, or friends to a God, and our mind registers that as owing our dues to a higher entity, which we call God, which we call Father, which we call Source. There is always that aspect of servitude. We have to pay our dues. We have to uphold God's standards of righteousness. And that is when we switch from our heart into our mind, because where there is a standard of righteousness, there has to be a judge. There has to be somebody that measures that standard, and that's our mind, that discerns between right and wrong, righteous and unrighteous. So whenever we have that, that interferes with our love for one another, for humanity, for the world, without conditions, because a God that has standards that need to be upheld, he has to have his servants that do the policing, and the servant is our mind. And so we go judging, dissecting people over their beliefs, what they believe. What if their belief is New Age? What if they're Wiccans? And so our mind is busy judging instead of allowing space for our heart to love unconditionally, regardless of what people believe, even people who don't believe in God. But a mind that is formed by religion, by the Bible, and by a relationship with an external God will always serve that external God and do the judging for that God. So that's where love is hindered, when we end up in our mind. The heart doesn't care about any standards of righteousness, because love is righteous. And when we love, that's the ultimate righteousness that we can exemplify in the world. So anytime we're stopped from loving someone, anytime we get into our mind and discern something in a person that would stop us from freely loving them, we're in our ego mind. We're back to being the servant to an external God. Whereas our heart knows that it is divine, and it is God, and it is the love of God, and it can only love. So beware of the mind, beware of the religion that mind thrives on. Mind, ego, is what sees separation. Ego is what judges. Ego is what prevents us from loving unconditionally.